Because really what I wanted to accomplish with the exercise is if the things that are down arrows are actually really up arrows for your dreams, just because the person's a pain in the ass does not mean they're bad for you. So it's a lot of pressure to grow. Yes, emotionally and ego-wise sometimes, yeah, that's a pain in the butt. But that's an up arrow. That's actually going to help me get to my goals.
We're a really good example of driving to 5, where whoever was more optimal kind of stood their ground more, and it got the other person closer to better. And I think that those are the relationships that end up being the most meaningful long-term.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode number 1526. What would you go back and change if you could? You heard many of Alan and I's not so intelligent decisions from the past. Today,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Seems like forever ago. Today, for episode number 1527, who is it time to let go of? So as you know, or you may not know, Alan coaches me every other week. I'm going to put that in quotations because usually we end up just skipping it and recording episodes because we're usually behind. But on a recent coaching call, Alan said, all right, where can we get more time back of yours? What are you doing? Where are you spending most of your time? What do you need to stop doing? He asks a bunch of questions. And I said social media for sure. I'm definitely spending more time on social media than I need to. So I've been scheduling out my posts. That's been helpful. Awesome. And he asked what could be perceived as a very hardcore question. So I want to throw that out there first. He said, is there anybody in your life that you're spending time with that you don't think you should be spending time with? And we've had, I don't know, a million of these conversations. So for me, that's just a regular question. I appreciate the vulnerability with asking such a challenging question. And I said, let me think for a second. And I said, no, everybody in my life is super aligned. I'm the most aligned I've ever been with my relationships. But maybe if somebody asked you that question, you might have someone in mind. You might say, you know what? I've really given blank a lot of chances. And I know they're working on stuff, and I know they're working on themselves, and I know they're really trying, but I don't know if this relationship serves me at the level that it once did. I don't know if I'm getting out of this friendship or this relationship what I once was or I need to be. It might be time to let go of that person potentially. Now, I also want to flip the script because I don't want this just to be a negative episode. Another good question for you is, who is it time for me to reconnect with? Contrast, perspective often reveals, oh, that person was really good for me. In retrospect, we had a lot of powerful conversations. We had some deep conversations. I learned a lot about myself. That person had zero ego. That person was very vulnerable. That person helped me here. They taught me here. I learned this when I was friends with them. So that's another question that you can ask yourself. But we've talked about this many times. There's seasons and reasons. People are in our lives for seasons. We've had a lot of that. We've grown apart from a lot of our old masterminds and some of the friends we had in the beginning of this. And then reasons. We've had really good mentors that we've worked with for years and then kind of drifted apart. Maybe it's team members that have been here for different seasons or reasons and we ended up drifting apart. But sometimes you forget how valuable a season is or how valuable a reason is. And I think that's why asking yourself questions like this is very, very, very important. Who knows? If you haven't checked in with it in a minute, you might have someone that's holding space in your life that doesn't necessarily deserve it. Or there might be someone who you're not allocating time for that actually does deserve it, and it would be very beneficial for them to be back in your life to some capacity.
This past weekend, I was listening to a audiobook called Who Are You Being a Hero To? In other words, who are you serving in the world? And the concept is built on this idea that all of us can help other people have a bigger, brighter future. I also did a team training number 17 this past weekend on Saturday morning with the NLU team. And I said, if anyone can ever come to me with an honest reason why NLU growing is not what's best for the world, I want you to call it out. Because to my understanding, when NLU grows, our listeners grow, our community grows, our clients grow, Kevin and I grow, and it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. Win for Kevin and I, win for the listener, win for the community, win for the clients, win for the team, win for the world. And I believe that all businesses should be a win for everyone. And the analogy here is a cigarette company, the opposite, which is your future gets worse when my future gets better. So you pay me $20 for cigarettes, two packs or whatever, and I profit off that, and your future actually gets smaller. It decreases. And so there's this concept of bigger, brighter futures, and versus NLU, when you pay me for coaching, I'm going to help you make your future bigger and brighter. So my future gets bigger because I am profitable, and that profit gets reinvested back into NLU, so NLU gets bigger, and then NLU can help more people. And so it's this positive feedback loop of bigger, brighter, better futures. Versus a cigarette company is profiting off of people's futures getting shorter and arguably worse. And cigarettes is a drastic, extreme example, but there's companies, everything in between. You know, I love Swedish Fish, but my future doesn't exactly get bigger when I buy them, right? My present definitely gets more enjoyable, but you understand the concept. So what does this have to do with the people in your life? People are the same way. Some people are Swedish Fish. They're enjoyable and pleasurable to be around, but they're not making you better. They're not helping you grow into a bigger, brighter, better future. And so I've often said this before, if you have big goals and dreams and you want to achieve them and you want to live a life of purpose, contribution, impact, profitability, I'm going to be the best friend you can possibly have. And friend is kind of in quotes because I definitely won't be friend in the traditional sense. But if you don't have goals and you want to stay the same and you don't want to grow and you don't want to improve and you're not interested in anything challenging, I'm going to be just a giant pain in the ass with no benefit. And so I try really hard not to have friendships like that anymore because Aristotle talks about the 3 types of friendships. One is transactional friendship, which is like I give Kevin 50 Swedish Fish for his 10 Reese's cups or whatever.
Nope.
And our friendship is built on transactions.
It's not a fair trade.
Not a fair trade. No, it's really not. Understandable.
I'm out.
Okay, for that, our friendship is over now because Swedish Fish, Reese's. Okay, number 2 is pleasure. So I used to have a lot of pleasure-centered friendships where partying and having fun and alcohol was a big epicenter of where our friendship was born. And then underneath that was actually deep conversations, which I'll get to in the 3rd category. So the first one is transactional. It's like your employer or colleague or whatever. The second is pleasure, meaning we party together, we have fun together, and our relationship is built on fun and partying, pleasure. And then the third one is constructive. And the third one is a constructive, mutual, reciprocal, I grow, you grow, deep, meaningful conversation, growth, and contribution friendship. And to the point of this episode, all Kevin is suggesting is try to have a little bit more of that third category, and you're going to find your future get bigger and brighter over time.
Well, as your goals change or get clearer, also what relationships are truly serving you gets clearer. I believe that at a deep level. Is it that simple? Can we make it that simple? Probably not. But if you have a goal, let's do this. Okay. Let's just say you have a goal of accomplishing something specific, something meaningful, it's personal to you, and it's something you believe you can actually do. I want you to pick out the top 3 people that you spend time with, and I want you to give me 3 reasons how they'll help you get to your goal and 3 reasons how they'll hold you back. And if it's really easy to come up with 3 reasons why they'll hold you back for all, for all the people in your life, I would argue that they're probably not serving you at the level that they could. On the opposite end, if you say it's really easy to come up with the 3 up arrows, the 3 positive things, I don't know. When it comes to the 3 down ones, one of them might be this person wants more quality time with me. Okay, that's something we could probably work with, right? That's a potential thing that we can work with constructively. Again, that exercise is very simple.
Kev, let's do it with each other.
Okay. Go ahead. Who
3
am I
reasons
saying? You?
I'm holding you back.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm kidding. You can start with the positive if you want, but I think we should lead by example.
I don't think you're holding me back. The positives. You have the ability to reverse engineer the outcomes that I desire, for sure. That's 1. 2, who else am I going to do this with? If you leave, this all dies to some capacity. So I want it to be you. You and I have this. We have quite a history built together, so I would never want this to be with anybody else. So that's number 2. And you, number 3, is you have a lot of unique strengths where I don't. You are a good yin to my yang, if you will. Mm-hmm. So those are my 3 positives. 3 negatives.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Dynamite Cop in middle school.
I think the audience and the community knows enough about our friendship where we played Spin the Bottle in your basement with the Popular Girls. So that would be reason number 4. That would be reason number 4. I don't know if there are three down arrows. I would say, I mean, you are a pain in the ass because you make me grow.
Yeah.
So that 3 times. Most likely.
I knew this would be fun.
Yeah, that 3 times. I can't. It's very hard to miss. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to get better every day and be on. But again, so that's good. This is good. It's a good exercise. Because really what I wanted to accomplish with the exercise is if the things that are down arrows are actually really up arrows for your dreams, just because the person's a pain in the ass does not mean they're bad for you. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of pressure to grow. Yes, emotionally and ego-wise sometimes, yeah, that's a pain in the butt. But that's an up arrow. That's actually going to help me get to my goals.
Well, I think an even more... the important way to look at that from my perspective, real quick, could you have the first 3 without the latter 3? Right? I mean, the first 3 are there in tandem with being a pain in the ass 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, how could I possibly be those first 3 without ever being a pain in the ass? I mean, is that even real? That's like having a fitness coach that never pushes you. It's
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really hopefully the point that landed for everyone is pros and cons. One of them, what is often best for our future, usually kind of sucks a little bit in the moment. And I think that's important to own. And a lot of the things that are the most fun in the moment are not what's best for our future. And I watched a Hobbit marathon yesterday, and it was awesome, and I had a blast, and it was for my birthday, and that's what I wanted. And Emilia was with me. She fell asleep through the 3rd movie. It was adorable, but it still was nice. And I stayed up late. And the Hobbit movies extended versions are 3 hours each, so this was like a day. And that was awesome. I mean, I was in absolute short-term pleasure heaven yesterday. But I'm paying for it today, for sure. And that's life. So, maybe I'll do that once a year. That'll be a tradition or something. Maybe I'll do like a movie marathon once a year or something. But at the end of the day, if my life was stuff like that, I'd be in so much trouble. And I think the same is with people. Some people are a lot of fun and they're really enjoyable to be around. But they're not what's best for your future. And I used to be one of those people who was really fun and really enjoyable to be around, but I wasn't what was best for everybody. If you hung out with me, we would definitely have a night. We'd party, we'd have a blast, but you'd pay for that with a bad hangover or whatever else you didn't get done. And I do think this is one through line for my life, which I always had deep, meaningful conversations, heart to hearts about goals and dreams, even when we were drinking. So I do think some people's futures got much brighter and bigger through that. But here's my point. Whether it's Kevin or me, or
that would be the second negative. You uncontrollably burp into the microphone.
My bad.
Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca. I started off with the group coaching and it was fantastic. I was able to use the PPT to kind of track. Now back then I wasn't very consistent and As of late, I have been working with Alan individually, and he's gotten to know me more on a personal level, and so he knows when to be gentle with me and when to push me harder, and he has really helped me with the consistency in the tracker, and he's just great to work with and really cares not only about my business goals but my personal life as well. So it's been a blessing working with him, and I'm just very thankful to have him take me just to the next level in business and in life.
Carbonated beverages. So whether it's Kevin or me or anyone else that you assess in your life, whether it's a podcast or someone you listen to on YouTube, are they making your future bigger and brighter and better, but maybe they're not super enjoyable to watch or be around? Or are they super fun to do, like the Hobbit movies, but, you got to dial it in. And that's really what we're talking about here. And unfortunately, that is the way life is set up. We all know that candy is more tasty than kale, but kale is what's best for your future. And that doesn't mean you can't ever eat candy. It just means you have to decide in advance what the right amount of candy is and what the right amount of kale is. And I think that's unique to all of us. And I'll answer now for Kev. The positives for Kev helps me work on my character for sure. Keeps me super accountable on that. And yeah, that comes as a pain in the ass for sure. Sometimes. But the best kind. Number 2, super hardworking and keeps me working really hard for sure. Number 3, I want this to be more meaningful. Let me really think. Number 3 for Kev. I would say, actually, this is interesting, but it's authentic. Fun. You make... I was watching a podcast earlier, and they were talking about how you got to make the grind fun. I don't know if I do that as much as you do. I definitely don't. But you've made the grind more fun.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to grind regardless, but I might as well have more fun. And
I
so,
agree.
Yeah, that third one is really, really kind of cool.
I appreciate that. That's a good one.
Of course. Especially when it's really brutal. Kevin gets funnier when life is worse. So,
I try. Now tell me why I suck.
The 3 things that are it's not really pain in the butt. What is it? I forget the frame. The first 3 are why it's a positive.
Yeah, you could say pain in the butt. Why it's positive, why it's a negative, you could say.
Negative. Well, this isn't a negative. This is a positive. Okay. You have strict logistics. Being on time, you're always on time. So it's annoying at times because I don't have as much permission, although you've done a great job with this, of putting other things first and being on time, really. So there's that. But again, another negative that's actually a positive.
Right.
It's actually a good thing if you want to improve and grow. Another negative. What would be a negative? I would say sometimes you prioritize R&R more than I do, but again, that's an up arrow too because I need that.
I definitely do. I wouldn't say sometimes.
Yeah, you definitely do.
I'm undefeated.
You're
I've
good.
lost a
You're
lot of
good with-
battles. I've never lost the battle with R&R. So.
Kev is much better at R&R than... It's almost like that's your sun and everything revolves around that. For me, the mission is my sun and everything revolves around that. So it's a good yin to the yang thing. Which again, I'm in real time realizing this. The things that you like are not necessarily what's best for you. That's so true. It's wild. But yeah, you're always focused on making sure you get your R&R, which helps me actually get enough R&R to be at my best. So I would say that's a pain in the butt sometimes.
That's fair.
Number 3, having to be early all the time. Yeah. So, but again, another up arrow that's actually constructive.
And you and I don't really do a lot of stuff together as much as we used to.
We used to have to be early for everything, but now that ends up, number 1, we end up actually on time, which is great. But at the time, it's kind of like I have so much other stuff to do. What if we could squeeze this into this 10 minutes and this into this 10 minutes? But over time, I've really realized that I'm just not really good with time. So I have a timer going right now. I've been getting much better with time ever since I've timed everything. So it's 59 minutes, 52 seconds until Kevin and I have to be off here. It's actually 49 minutes and 48 seconds, sorry. But as I've come up on time, I've realized that I'm actually the one who wasn't optimal. And so Kevin and I are a really good example, and I hope we're not just talking about us here, but I hope you're thinking about you. We're a really good example of driving to 5, where whoever was more optimal kind of stood their ground more, and it got the other person closer to better. And I think that those are the relationships that end up being the most meaningful long term.
I always try, and I don't know if it lands, but anytime I want food, like say I want to order Taco Bell or Burger King, whatever it is, and I know it's not what I should do. It's like, well, you already ordered food once this week, or you're focused on saving money, or whatever. You're dieting. It doesn't make any sense. I try to sell myself on the opposite. So I try to find the 3 down arrows. It's a 10-minute ride, or it's going to cost $8 to get it delivered with Grubhub, and you're going to feel like garbage after, and you already did your cardio for the day. That's kind of what we're talking about here a little bit, where if the down arrows are also up arrows, so the down arrows are actually up arrows for your goals, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. If the up arrows or down arrows, that might not be so good. So when I'm with this person, I lose track of time. Like, yeah, that could be a really good thing, unless you are losing track of all your responsibilities too when you lose track of time. Maybe that's not as good. But you have to be very, very honest with yourself. The other day, Taryn made something. I don't remember what it was. I think she made crock-pot chicken. And I had one of those days. I told you, I was like, I'm getting food. I don't even care. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get in these moods where it's, I don't care. I'm getting food. I'm stressed out. I need it. And Taryn sold me on not getting food. And she gave me, she said, well, we have crock-pot chicken. You just got food the other day. It's like, okay, you win. You have over-logicked me 100%. And I ended up having whatever it was, chicken quesadillas or whatever. And it was awesome. It was awesome. So although it was quote-unquote pain in the butt, it ended up being the thing that was best for me in the long run. So maybe hopefully that's a new or a unique or a perspective that you maybe haven't practiced recently that we can help you practice through our examples and our lessons. That's my next level nugget.
And then my next level nugget is, what type of person are you being for yourself? And then what type of person are you being for others? Because not only are you assessing the people in your life, but they're assessing you. And as someone who used to throw a ton of parties back in high school and college, I used to be the person you went to when you wanted a good time. And I'm definitely not that anymore. Now I'm the person you go to when you want to achieve your goals and dreams. And I would rather be the second one than the first. But I'm saying that from a place of experience, having been the first. Because having been the first, there was a lot of benefits to that too. I had tons of friends. I had friends of friends. I had friends of friends of friends of friends. My network was huge. Everybody knew me. Not everybody, but a lot of people knew me. And I was invited to every party because they wanted to be invited to mine. There were a lot of benefits. And a lot of those benefits are gone now. But there's also a lot of benefits to having a bigger, brighter future and then surrounding yourself with other people that also want to have a bigger, brighter future. And so which side of this pendulum do you want to be on? And most importantly, which side of this pendulum do you want to swing toward when it comes to the people you associate with? The birds of a feather, the birds of a feather, the birds of a feather that flock to feather. The birds of a feather that flock together. That's my next level nugget. If you want to improve your speaking, nextleveluniverse.com.
Fumble at the goal line. If you are someone who is looking for more positive people, and maybe that's what this episode brought up for you, please join our private Facebook group, Next Level Nation. Link will be in the show notes. We've had a lot of new members, so thank you, and shout out to all of those of you who have joined.
If you are a bird who wants to flock to feather, join us for our next speaking seminar. No, so we do, as you know, if you're a new listener, you do not know this, but if you're a long-term listener, you definitely know this because we've been doing this for 2 years. This is our 24th month in a row of doing monthly meetups. It is a private, community-based thing that we do at Next Level University so that we can all get to know each other at a deeper level. 3 things holding you back from your own unique version of success. Monthly meetup number 24. It is December 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The registration link will be in the show notes. You can participate as much as you want, or you can participate not at all and just listen in.
Someone, was it Jerry Ann that had a really good idea about maybe a potential giveaway? I don't know yet, but let me think on it. I love giving stuff away, so let me think on it. And we'll, as we get closer, maybe we'll announce some sort of giveaway for our 2-year anniversary.
As I said on the huddle, I said that I'm not the giveaway guy.
Yeah.
But I support it. If that's
we'll figure something out.
Yep.
We'll figure something out. Tomorrow for episode number 1528, you're wasting more time with shortcuts. I don't know, Alan, if you ever watched Mythbusters back in the day, but I was inspired by a realization that I had from a long time ago Mythbusters episode.
Yeah, that show is awesome.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a great show. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Talk to you soon. Next Level Nation.